So do you think the NBA right now has a problem with identifying who it is? Because it seems like this might lead into a longer discussion, but it feels like to me the NBA is really fixated on keeping LeBron the face of this league. Even though, in my opinion, LeBron James has not even been the greatest player of his era. And I'd argue that with anybody. Right now, in the future era, you have guys like...
Usually he has been the greatest of his era?
Yeah. Yeah. How has LeBron James changed or redefined the game of basketball?
Okay, so maybe I'm missing maybe it's how you're wording it, because it's just like, was he not the best player in the league for a number of years?
Sure, maybe, but not.
Absolutely.
What would you say?
From the first year, or even to me, even before they won in 2012, he was it. The dude was doing stuff. It was unreal. But he got that Cavalier team to win 60 plus games. And
yeah, but
best player.
Like, this
is wild.
You still would have gone to head. You still would have taken Kobe over LeBron. I know it. I know for a fact you would have.
Well, for a certain stretch, absolutely. I think because obviously LeBron came in 2003, and I think Kobe was the best player in the league then, right? So Kobe was the best player, I would say, from 2003 until
probably 2010.
When they beat us in 2010, right? On Lakers, right? Okay, cool. But from 2011 to I would say really the rest of the decade, the man went to 8 straight finals. He was a part of every final. If you had him on your team, you were going to the finals, and you had to get shots to win it.
Sure.
To me, that makes you not a guy, in the words of one of our favorite wrestlers, not a guy, but the guy.
But isn't it fair to say that? I would say that LeBron's been in the league since 2003, and I would say that the height of his powers were 2012 to 2017. Right?
Yeah. Some long, when he was like, just completely, you just knew he was going to make the right play every time. He no longer cared about not making the final play. Those 6 or 7 years, he was just like, you can't fuck with me. Yeah, essentially.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And in that time, he won 3 championships, right? Which is good, great. We'd kill for that up here. But then Steph Curry came around. KD was statistically a better basketball player, I would say, from 2011 through the end. Statistically, he was better than LeBron. So my point to you, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that the league has made a concerted effort over the last, let's just call it 10 years, to keep the face of the league as LeBron James. When clearly, in my opinion, he is not the face. He should not be the face. He's not. Maybe he's the most well known, but that's just because we anointed him. Not me, but they anointed him the next MJ in 2003. And quite frankly, he's never lived up to that. But this is just a long way for me to say, it feels like they don't know who the next face of the league is going to be. You got guys like Ant, who very well could be, but saying, I don't want it. Tatum saying it should be me based on the stats, but it isn't for whatever reason. Right. So who is it?
You know what's funny? I think they were trying to push towards Ja Morant, and then that stuff happened. That's how I feel. I think he was going to be the guy. And that's how I feel. I think he was going to be the guy, and unfortunately, because the stuff with the gun issues, which really wasn't a gun issue, when he shot somebody, he was just waving shit in the air, like an idiot. But right. I think he was going to be
the most important part of that statement is the last part of it, like an idiot.
Oh, when you cost yourself over $40 million, yeah, that's an idiot thing to do. Absolutely.
So
do you think it would have been Ja? Because people have amnesia, because people was like, oh, and the last time John Ant played in the playoffs, Ja Morant's team won. Fact, check. just go. It's there. YouTube is your friend. So. I'm a fan of Ja Morant. I think that he would deserve it. But yes, if we're saying that, and we've given it a lot of other context, and I can't wait to hear the comments on these, because it's going to be they're going to be the Bron hive is going to be in full effect on you on this one, sir. So you thought the Luka thing was crazy.
Well, yeah. We'll talk about.
They're going to be here.
we'll talk about my doppelganger in a second.
Funny.
But yeah, we'll talk about my twin in a second. But like, what the reason why I bring this up is like, Jordan was the face of the league after Magic and Bird, right? He was the most dominant player on the most dominant team in his era, and it was never questioned.
Right.
LeBron was anointed that, but actually was never that. The league just kept trying to tell us this. He was never the most dominant player on the most dominant team in his era, consistently. He always ran up against Tim Duncan and the Spurs. He ran up against Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavs. He ran up against the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry. My point is, who is the next face? If it's not Tatum, if it's not Ant, if Ja can't keep his pistol in his pants,
I'm not looking further than 100 Causeway Street. I'm gonna say it's Tatum. Once again, we're not a part of the media, but like I said,
this is media.
No, we're not full time media, but we're our time. Let me say that.
Sure.
Full time media, but we are part of it. But no, I'm Brian Bazero. He's done everything
besides winning MVP. Is that it? Do you think that's it?
It's like, once again, Tim Duncan won in 27 as well. So, and he should have had one before then too.
Right. But like,
right.
That might be the thing that's holding him back, right? Because Jordan, up until this point, up until age 26, was averaging 32 points a game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds.
Wow.
No championships, but he had an MVP.
Sure, but he was losing, to your boys in Detroit. He was losing. He lost to us in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was James Harden. And once again, I'm not saying that for the hot take. That's what it was. James Harden. Look at the number James Harden was putting up in Houston. 35, 36 a night. That's once again, that's not an exaggeration. He was rocking James Harden before, Scotty developed, and then they just went on an absolute run. So, and that's okay, because like I said, we still would have seen him as, an all-time great, obviously, duh. But yeah, by his 30 year in the league, yeah, he was giving people 40, 50 a night easily. And yeah, I think people, David Stern said, okay, this is the guy. Because once again, it wasn't, Zeke was too small, even though he was, a really good player. Charles Barkley wasn't corporate enough. Because Charles Barkley had the personality for it, right? Just like I said, okay, Ant got the personality for it, but are you polished? See, Michael Jordan was polished. Jayson Tatum right now was polished. You need to have that decorum to be in those rooms with certain organizations, because you're gonna get those sponsors. So it's much more than just what are you doing on the court for 48 minutes a night. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it should be Tatum. Once again, the league in general is gonna be in good shape once LeBron walks away, anyways. I'd argue that Jordan is still considered the face of the league, not LeBron.
Right.
People will still talk about Michael.
Yeah, because fans of sport are
that's a problem.
Well, the only reason that's happening is because fans of sports are just like fans of professional wrestling, where if you shove something down our throat, we will fight back. And we were told that LeBron was the next Jordan, and by the league. And listen, I think LeBron, I think he's obviously he's top 5 all time in my opinion. He's not top 2. But he's top 5 all time. But the problem with him, and I don't want now this is going to turn into a LeBron segment, but here we fucking are, is that the all-time greats never told you that they were great. They just were. LeBron's told us and publicly that he's got to be considered the greatest of all time. Yes, I'm sorry.
It wasn't as fans, analysts, fine. That's cool for us to say. But what is he supposed to say?
What did Jordan say?
You don't think Jordan was telling motherfuckers that he was the guy? Man,
he wasn't telling the press. That's my point. So Tatum is being held back and by not being the face of the league because he's not overtly saying these things in the press. Mm-hmm. Whereas LeBron did, but Jordan didn't. He just let his game speak for himself.
Yeah, listen, the NBA will always tell you who they're trying to. So I think about the Dream Team, right? Jordan, Stockton, Malone, Pat Ewing, Chris Mullin. Well, no, Reggie Miller was on Dream Team too, but
Magic,
Magic. Well,
Larry.
but it was all the time. But it's just like they was when they put that on there as a Dream Team, they was telling you right then and there who was going to be the next guys to be on TV all the time, right? You know, Stockton, Jordan, and Barkley were on the '84 draft. Ewing, Malone was on the '85 draft. I think Chris Mullin and some others like on the 80. Like, so they was telling you, like, hey, these guys been in the league 5, 6, 7 years. Like, and we saw in the documentary, Mike came into the room and he told Bird and Magic, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. And Magic was like, well, you weren't lying. So they knew. So, they knew. And I think people were holding on to Magic at that time too, until he beat Magic in the finals. And it was like, he might be the guy. Yeah. So maybe, and this is a really weird way to get to this point, but I'll say it. Maybe if it turned to be Celtics Lakers in the finals, and he beats LeBron, cool. Maybe we crown him then, and I'll take it. And we can't say, oh, because it's 40-year-old LeBron. 40-year-old LeBron and still give you 25, 9, and 6 a night. He's not slowing down anytime soon. And I will not give him that out. Once again, yes, he's older. Yes, he can't do it every night like he used to, but he still give you 25, 9, and 6. He's still one of the best players in the league. And he's still playing at a high level. So this is not something where he's out the back door. He's on the back nine. But he has not hit a triple bogey yet. He is still very much a birdie or a hole-in-one type guy when he wants to be. So that was for you, big guy.
So for you, would it take, do you think the only thing, just to put a pin in this conversation, is the thing that's holding Tatum back? No, the lack of an MVP?
I think in some people's eyes. And also the 22 finals, which is wild because now they won this, but I get it. Like let me take that back. We held 07 against LeBron for years too, because they got swept against the Spurs. And then we held that. People still hold Dallas against them, and he's 1-4, and people still give a shit about Dallas. So, it's I don't know, but I think it's the not winning the MVP. You still have folks that believe Jaylen Brown is better. Whether people agree, that's not for us to debate tonight, but some people believe that. And then what happened in the 22 finals. So those are blemishes on his NBA record right now. Even though he's been to 6 conference finals, like they mentioned this morning on national TV. 6 conference finals, 2 and 1-1. Unreal.
And 4 all NBA teams. 6 All-Star selections, a gold medalist.
So it's going to be fine, but he's going to be first team again. Like, what are we talking about? And I want to say this because we didn't talk about it because we got into other stuff, and that's fine. There's not a weakness in this man's game right now. There's not at all. So as a playmaker, and that's why I want to bring it back to you, because for those that have been long-time listeners of the show, right now we want to say thank you. But this is giving Mike his flowers in a moment. Mike has religiously said, can you dominate the game having 16 points, 7 rebounds, 8 or 9 assists? Well, guess what, Mike? He's doing it now. He's doing it, and he's getting close to triple doubles. He's had like 35 assists the last 3 games. Like, it even started before that, but it's starting to just pile up. So just speak to what you've seen with that, because like I say, you were someone that was harping on that very early, and saw that he can take that, saw that would help him get his game to the next level. So just speak on that.
Yeah, it's just one of my biggest gripes with him early on was when it's just comparing him to JB. It's just like everything that Jaylen Brown does well, he has to work hard for. Tatum can just do it. He's just naturally gifted. And early on in his career, even up until we'll just call it the 2022 season, he was taking 22 shots a night, 23 shots a night. And I just said, I wonder, I wonder what would happen if he decided to buy into the Larry Bird program. And like Dan Shaughnessy said this to us when we had him on, so you can go back and listen to it. Larry could dominate a game and only take 12 shots. Like
Right.
he'll put up, 18 points, have 10 assists, 9 rebounds, and he dominated the game. So over the last, I would say, year and a half, we've seen Tatum do that. And everything that I ever wanted to happen from him in his game has happened. It's no longer the ISO ball. Like when he's taking his deep step back threes, for the most part, now there are still some aberrations to this, but for the most part, there's a screen in front of him. He's getting some separation. Like that's the play. I'm fine with it. But his game has become so elevated because he knows his place. He is the best player on the court.
Right.
But the best player on the court does not need to score all of the points.
Right.
You are only as good as your teammates. And I would say, obviously, over the last 2 years, he's elevating everybody. Everybody's getting better because of him. So I was right. I was right.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's why I wanted to highlight that. Whether it was a Porzingis point a while back, whether it's this, things that not everyone was paying or having a trained eye to because there was only one or two things that they were focusing on. But we've always been a fan base up here that appreciates the player being complete, regardless of sport. So football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. Like, can you dominate in all areas? And we've seen it, and that's why the demand was high, right? He is someone that once again has been committed to getting better. So whether that's his stuff that he's been doing with Drew Hanlon, whether the stuff that he was doing with Missoula before Missoula became the head coach, the stuff he's done with Sam Cassell and Charles Lee when Charles Lee was here, like they've really done a lot of work with him behind the scenes. He's gotten more comfortable each year. And now we're seeing that, almost finished product. And once again, he's just about to turn 27, next week. So, he's got plenty more bullets in the chamber, and we're at the right place at the right time to watch it as Celtics fans. And once again, enjoy this, Celtics fans. Enjoy this because, like I said, we're still very toxic on Twitter. We won't have this duo for a long time after they're both gone. I'm just going because that's how it works. So
unless
you can't just poach guys on the team like the Lakers. So
unless
not realistic.
Unless Brad or whoever the GM is at that time decides to do what Danny did and trade them, trade one or two of them at the end of their career. I hope they're here for another 10 years. That'd be great. Then 9 years from now, like you trade them.
Well, they deserve. I mean, even though they end up playing for other teams too, but they deserve a Jordan and Pippen type run. They do. Obviously, we're not expecting 6. It'd be great to win 6, obviously, but like they deserve a Jordan and Pippen type run where you just played for 13, 12 years together.
Pippen's run with the Trailblazers is often overlooked, but it was he was
excellent. It was excellent. It was cool. They were knocked at the door, several times with him there, and but it runs that big guy in the middle and the guy with the fro. So
that was the bad Kobe.
And even then he was still like it was man, what a time. But I'm excited to see what he does going into the playoffs. I hope that he goes in with something to prove. Because he's been very disrespected the last year.
The only thing on his mind, obviously, for winning a championship, because that should be the number one thing. We agree with that. It should be to win conference finals MVP and finals MVP. Like, leave no fucking doubt this year that we win because of him.
Yeah, I'll say this because like I said, we're removed from, but I remember how we were in the moment last year with it. But and the only thing I'll say, and I think Dave was the one who said it, but I think I remember I agree with this. It was just a funny stat, and I didn't know until after the series. But we had never had someone lead their team in points, rebound, and assists and not win MVP. Unreal. So No, I'm saying no. Like I said, there's obviously there's more to the thing, but I'm saying like when you think about that and how long this league has been, lead the team in points, rebounds, and assists. And once again, as fans, we could feel what we feel because we watched the game and cool. That's not. But for the writers of whoever to look at that and say he led in points, rebounds, assists, had 31, 11, 8 in a closeout game. And they said, and that's why I said what I said at the end. I was like, they were hell bent. It didn't matter. Like as long as JB played consistent, he played great. He was awesome. I said, as long as he played good, and because of how they disrespected him earlier that season last year, but him not being an All-Star, him not being an All-NBA, they was going to make sure that he was going to be the Finals MVP. And I'm glad because I meant that we won the championship. That's great. So now we need to do the same thing for Tatum because y'all disrespected him. Now you need to do the same thing. If his numbers are up to par, he should be the MVP for both rounds. Because like I said, he's been that good. He's been that good.
I agree. You gave me a chance. You gave me my flowers and to kind of revel in some past victories.